Hey my friend, in this video I want to share with you two main things when it comes to manifestation. I also want to share a manifestation story with you which maybe inspires you if you are struggling to manifest something. So first thing what I want to share with you is the technique which works great for me. There are many different techniques and a lot of them they are working great, but I use usually a specific method, a specific technique. So, and the other thing is what's blocking your manifestation, why it's maybe not working. So, I usually put myself in a state of meditation. You can, there are different forms of meditation. You can sit down, you can lay down, you also can take a walk. Take a walk in nature, for example. For me, it doesn't matter. I can walk, I can sit, whatever. And I try to relax as good as I can, and I combined an elevated emotion with an intention. The intention could be, for example, health. You want to heal yourself from something, or you want to heal someone else. You want to help uh, someone to get rid of pain or whatever. That's what I usually do when I want to manifest something. It's usually related to health, to heal myself or to heal someone else. And another thing is mostly money. So that I always wanted to manifest money in some way, and yeah, I still do that sometimes. So the intention is I want to heal myself from this health condition. And what I do is I imagine myself happy, smiling. I imagined myself doing the thing what I cannot do with my health problem. I imagine myself, if I'm already healed, doing all the stuff I couldn't do, all the stuff I would love to do again. Um, I um, also imagine myself talking to someone, to my best friend, to my whatever, your best friend or your father or your mother, or and you tell him or her you are so happy, you are so grateful. It's a miracle. You are free of pain. You are healed, and that's how I create a short scene of myself doing the thing I love, and I tell my success story in my imagination to someone. That's my intention. Then I combine it, and at the same moment it happens at the same moment. At the same moment I combine it with an elevated emotion. It's usually joy, excitement, happiness, and a deep feeling of love. And I do that for how long as it feels good for me. If I take a walk for an hour, I do it for 1 hour. Or it works best for me when when I take a walk in nature, or first thing in the morning, or last thing before I go to bed. Because first thing in the morning and last thing at night, it's when your brain already is slowing down and you get more easy into a trance state. So you combine this elevated emotion with an intention, and you have to trust, you have to believe that it's possible. Because now we are going to the second point. What's blocking your manifestation? It's usually just your disbelief. It's some limiting belief inside of you. And the funny thing is, um, mostly it's easier for me, or in the past, it was easier for me to manifest something for someone else than it was to manifest something for myself, because I grew up with a lot of limiting beliefs, and I didn't I don't was so self-confident. But always when I wanted to help someone, when I wanted to heal someone or help someone to get rid of pain, I mostly had great success, because sometimes I had a hard time to believe in myself, but I never had a hard time to believe in God or in the universe, however you want to call it. And I always knew that I can do this for someone else. So it mostly worked for me. And I had troubles to manifest health for myself for a long time, or to manifest money, because I constantly was holding on to some sort of problem. I was thinking more about my problems than I was thinking about um, the solution, or the situation where I already have the money, or where I'm already healed. So if it's not working, it's mostly a limiting belief. For example, with money, if you want to, I always wanted to manifest money, but most of the time I was scared to look at my bank account because it was empty. That's the best sign. And if you want to manifest money, watch out for these situations when you feel scared about money. That's a good thing, because then you know, okay, here I make that's the point where I make the mistake. I have to change that. I cannot be scared looking at my empty bank account. I cannot be scared when I get a bill to pay and I'm low on money. And it always happened for me. I always was scared when I was low on money to pay a bill. I always felt terrible, stressed, anxious, and that's where you need to put the work in. You have to change these limiting beliefs, and it's usually letting go of it. Letting go of this, by you observe yourself, and if you feel this resistance inside of you, this lie, if you feel something which feels not good, it's a lie. Maybe it seems like your current reality, but it's an illusion. It can change in an instant, and we are just holding on to it by putting more energy and focus on the problem. So be delusional. It helped me. I just can say being delusional can be really helpful. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, so an elevated emotion with an intention. And you have to be honest to yourself. If you do this exercise, if you combine elevated emotion with intention, and when you go back into your normal day, you cannot you cannot question it. If you have some thoughts about, is it really happening? I don't know. Game over. It's easy like that. You have to be so faithful. It's like, yeah, if you want a miracle from the universe, from God, you have to believe in God. You have to believe in the universe. And if it's not working, it's your disbelief. And like I said, it's you need to let go of it, and you can do it by observing yourself and by catching yourself, and to tell yourself, if like you feel like you're in disbelief, stress, anxiety, that's not your it's not true anymore, because you choose a different outcome. And that's how you can let go of it, and it needs practice and time. So that's all you need to know, to be honest. There are some other techniques, some great techniques, but for me, it always, or most of the time, it works great if I'm not sabotaging myself. So a funny story was about health. Some years ago, I was traveling around South America. I met an older guy, and I spent some time with him, and he told me one day he had problem with a tooth. He's in severe pain. He had a lot of pain. He couldn't sleep, and he was really scared because he already had some new teeth, and he he always was in Europe to repair his teeth. He spent thousands of dollars for his new teeth in Europe, and he always had some specialists um, doing the work, some really, really good doctors. And now he was in South America. We were in the middle of nowhere, and he wanted to enjoy his holiday. And so he felt really, really bad. Told me like, my holiday is over. I will have a lot of pain for the next weeks. I know it because it always was like this, also with his other teeth. So he asked me, "Can you help me? Do you know a doctor, a dentist?" And he couldn't speak Spanish, so he needed some help. And I told him, "Yeah, I can bring you to a dentist." Because it was funny. Some weeks ago, I met a guy. He had, in the middle of nowhere, he had a property with like 500 acres and a lot of cows. It was a farm, and there was a small house. And when I met this guy, he showed me around. We were talking, and he showed me his this little house, and he told me he's here once a week for feeding the cows and whatever. So he showed me around, and the last thing he told me, he's also a dentist. And I asked, where do you practice? Where do you do your dentist work? And he said, oh, also here in my small house. And he showed me a room, and it looked very, very unprofessional. And it was dirty and not so, yeah. I I also thought, what is this? But the guy was really nice, really honest, and I felt a good energy with him. So I told my other friend, hey, I met a guy some weeks ago, I bring you there. And he was really in a bad mood because of his pain, and because he was felt sorry for himself because he couldn't enjoy his rest of the holiday. We met this guy at the dentist, and we were going into the house, and my friend looked at me like in disbelief. What are we doing here? It's a farm. It's no dentist. And he was really scared. And I told him, don't worry. Everything will work out. Everything will be fine. So he went in with the doctor, and I took a seat outside, and I did a meditation. I was sitting there, I watched my breath, and I was entering like a trance state. I was very calm, very relaxed, and I imagined myself this specific scene. I imagined myself when my friend opens the door, he's coming out with a big smile on his face, and he will tell me he has no pain. And it's the first time ever. He never visited a dentist without experiencing pain. And this was the scene I imagined over and over again, like for 15 minutes. I imagined the scene. He tells me everything is fine. I'm so happy. I have no pain. And I'm so thankful that you brought me here. It's amazing. And I felt also the emotion. I felt this happiness. I felt so grateful that everything worked out perfectly and that he could um, enjoy now his vacation. And I felt really good. I felt I had not 1% disbelief. I trusted 100% that it's absolutely like this. I don't accept anything else. I was sitting there doing this for like 15 minutes, and then I let it go. And I just was waiting like for an hour, and but I was completely happy. I I was so happy because I had 100% trust that it's okay. 1 hour later, the door opens. My friend was walking out, and he looked at me with a smiling face, and he told me he has like four new teeth or something, and from specialists from Europe, very expensive, and he just spent like a very little amount. It was like, I don't know, like 50 or $100, something a crazy low amount. And he told me he has no pain, he don't know what's happening, and he's so grateful for me that I brought him here, and it's awesome. And we went home. He told his wife, and he couldn't believe it. It was so great. It was so nice. And yeah, I love this story. I sometimes I remind myself of it. And yeah. And like I said, sometimes it's easier to help someone else than to help yourself. So that's why it's also a good thing if you are struggling, ask someone for help. If you can do it, that's great. I always had a problem to ask someone for help. I was raised like I need to be a man, I have to do everything on my own. I cannot show weakness or something like that. And that's all limiting beliefs. So if you are really struggling, maybe you have someone you trust, or look for someone who you can trust and get some help, because like I said, sometimes we need a push from someone else, some help. So if you are still here, thank you so much for spending time with me. And if you want to do me a favor, hit the like button, and you could Also write me a comment. If you want to support me, just write in the comment section the word, what's the word? Manifestation. Just write the word manifestation in the comment section. So thank you so much again, and see